In this video, we're gonna be swapping out the dash harness on one of these 4th gens. So in the last video, we went through the process of removing the actual old dash pad. So that's the old one. It's just this standard plastic one, and we are gonna be putting in this leather stitched one. So this is out. If you guys haven't seen that video, I'll link it above for you guys. You can check out that whole process of how to get the dash pad out. And then you're left with something that looks like this. So you can see our harness is here. And what we're going to be doing is swapping out the harness. So this is a tradesman. It has a lot of optional wiring on it, but it doesn't have the wiring for the 8.4 uconnect that we're going to be doing. So I mentioned in the last video, but you have some options. So the standard harness, the harness that's in that truck currently, doesn't have the provisioning to plug into this climate module or temperature control module, and this one does. So this harness I purchased, I got them both from a wrecking yard actually, and it was out of the same year Laramie truck. So this has every option you can possibly imagine. So rather than making our own harness that plugs into this climate module, I went ahead and just purchased the harness that already has the wiring for it. Or, you know, you can buy that harness if you want, but this was the route we went since we're going to be putting a bunch more options in it, and I wanted to make sure I had the harness that has all the features. So here's the harness, and what we're going to do is swap it out. So I'm going to show you guys what we're unplugging. Luckily, it looks like all the Christmas tree clips that are on this are still intact, so they did a good job of removing it at the wrecking yard. So I'm literally just going to go ahead, swap this over, show you guys the process of getting this new harness in place, and then we'll be all wired up and we can do this on the next video. All right, so again, to get to this step, go check out the dash pad removal video, and then you'll have something that looks like this. And then what I did here was removed the bottom kick plate right here. So what I'm gonna do is start from the passenger side and just start unplugging everything. So this one goes up to our overhead console. So I'll go ahead and remove this. If you guys do or don't have one of these, I'm gonna link it down below because this is a lifesaver. So this is one of these pry tools, and you can literally just pry off all these Christmas tree clips. The other thing you can do is on this one, if you want, is you can actually release the tab and just slide it off of this kind of ivory piece. So like I said, depending on if your harness, you know, comes with this stuff attached or not, you can slide this off and leave this intact. And then most of these clips, you're gonna see these locking tabs. So wherever you see a red locking tab, just slide it back and we can go ahead and release the actual clip. So up here, I went ahead and removed our antenna wire. This one's disconnected, and then there is a little Christmas tree clip right there. So we're gonna grab this guy here, and we're going to pop this one out like so. And this one routes through here, but we can just pull it down this way. Okay, so that one's out. You can see we got a clip here. So again, this tool is gonna come in handy, you guys. Pretty much this whole process. So right here we got that one. So pop that one out. We're gonna work our way down. So we'll go ahead and see this one here. There we go with that one. Another one. There's that one. And then we're gonna get down into here and I'll show you guys the disconnection of these. Okay, so we got our antenna wire right here. So I'm gonna disconnect that. And then this one here, we got this big latch here. So we're gonna open this one, pop this one out. So there's that one. We got this one down here. We're gonna squeeze this, pull that one out. And then we got one more over here. Same thing. There we go. So here's all these. Okay, so this whole part of the harness is free. We can bring this up through here. Now we'll keep working our way across. We've got this one right here we're gonna remove. So we'll use our little tool, pop this guy out of there. There's another one here on the bottom of the frame. There's that. So let's work our way along, guys. There's that one. There's another one over here. That one's off. Same thing here. That one's off. We got one on the side here. That one's off. And now it's gonna get a little more fun through here. we do have this, so let's remove this grounding strap. So grounding strap's off, these two are removed. Now we're gonna go across and we'll just remove this one, and then we're on to this side. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and remove the one that leads up to the center of the top of the dash. Other reason too is this one doesn't have a center speaker. So if I want to install the premium sound system has a speaker wire that runs up to there. Remove this one, that's for our gauge cluster. And then these ones look like they're gonna be a bit of a beefy harness to remove, but let's get up in here. There's that one. And it's part of the harness through here. So we've also got this. All right, so maybe you guys already saw this coming, but you're gonna see part of the harness start to go underneath where the center console would be and towards here, because it's gonna be powering this stuff in here. So I'm gonna go ahead, we're gonna have to pop the seat. I would imagine at least one seat and the center console, because you're gonna have to get to underneath of all here. So right now, I peeled the carpet up right here, and you guys can probably see we've got the harness running across right there. So we got to get this up one way or another. So I'm gonna end up pulling a seat, the center console, that way enough that we can flip the carpet up to get to everything, and we'll get it underway. So seat's gonna have two 18 mil bolts on the back, and then you're gonna have two 15 mils on the front. Okay, next up we got two 13 mils here, and then on the other side it attaches to the bracket for the seat. So let's remove these two guys first. Right here you're gonna see two 10 mils, and then in the back two 13 mils. So remove those and it'll free up these brackets. So ironically enough, even though you take those off, you can't get it out sideways to get the posts out. So we still have to take this seat out. Same thing, 1815s, disconnect your plug and it comes out. So next up we'll disconnect these three plugs that hold our jump seat in place and get it out of here. All right, so now we have access to these. So we'll pull these all up, and then now you can see goes to this module here, and we'll start getting stuff disconnected. Okay, so we got them disconnected from there. So this one with the two connectors went underneath the seat. This one went to the module. It actually was the smaller connection, so it wasn't this one. For some reason I just thought it was this one. So this one I can plug back in, latch it back down. And then there is, right here, there's a 10 mil that holds the ground post there, so you have to remove that. This can go back where she was. And the other one just goes this way and then through here, and the other one just comes down through and out this hole in the carpet where your other connector will be. So now we have lots of room for activities, but we're gonna continue on here. So that's all disconnected, and let me get to the next step of removing some of this stuff. So although you probably could do it, there is quite a bit of harness behind there. I haven't decided yet whether I'm gonna just pull the frame, because there's only a few bolts just to pull the frame out, because getting the harness out from behind here is going to prove to be a little bit more fun. It might honestly just be faster to pull the bolts here and just drop the frame quickly, get the harness out and put it back in. Okay, so let's continue here. I think I'm gonna try loosening this frame, at least so we can get a little bit more room on the backside here. So we've got one more 10 mil bolt here, so let's remove that. And we'll also remove this. So I'm just gonna start removing as much little things as possible, and then we'll just be left with taking the frame off so we can get the harness out the back. So that's all removed. We'll pop this one off of here. So we got that out of there, and then we just have these two latches in the back. So let me get these two out of here, and this appears to be the end of the harness right here. So there's one. So there we have it. So here's the end of our harness right here, and now it's just a matter of getting it out. So she's all pretty well disconnected, and yeah, let's figure out how to get this thing out of here. The three 13 mils, I also just removed a few clips that held this on here, and then behind here are two 10 mils. So you can see the other one here, and that's holding this bracket into this frame, so remove those. Moving our way across, it's gonna be a couple 10 mils here, And there's obviously going to be the 3 on that side. So let me get some more of the stuff out of the way, and I'll show you guys what I need to remove. These ones are already loose, so the brace up here, that's already disconnected because when we took the dash out, so we don't have to worry about this one. So this side had 2 13s there, and then it had one down right here going that way. So now she's mostly loose. We'll go check out on the other side what we got going on. Looks like there might be something still attached, but she's pretty loose. Okay, so this here looks like it's holding on for dear life. So we'll pop that out of there. That looked like it was holding it quite a bit. Yeah, so that's mostly out, you guys. I don't know how much I really need to move it out to get the harness out, but she is pretty well free right now. Okay, so I popped it out the back, and now with the dash removed, I can kind of flip this down through here. And we also have to take this one off of here. So we just took that 10mm head bolt out of there, so that one's out. All right, here's the ticket here, you guys. So now I can actually pass this down through here and through there. So there was a 7mm screw holding this to here from the back side, and that is allowing me to essentially just pass all this down and out of the bottom. So this is giving me the room we need. I gotta pull this wire through here. This is some strange routing. This is factory. It's through here. I don't know if I'm gonna reroute that the same way, but I guess we'll obviously know where it went. It was through this little channel right there. So that's all out the bottom. That's there. All these wires go through this hole here. So these can all get passed down and out of there. And that's pretty much it. And I should be able to pull most of it right out the center here. Well, I guess the frame is out, you guys. So technically I could just take this out on the floor and reinstall the new harness, I suppose. Alright, so she's out on the floor. You don't have to take it out, but I figured since it was loose, I would show you guys that you can take it out. Only thing left for me that is held on here is this one right here. Alright, well, I laid out both harnesses for you guys. I wanted to show you guys because you might be asking, why are you going through all this trouble? So this is the original tradesman harness. As you can see here, it's got this plug in the middle. This is right in the center, and this would plug into your original, you know, the 3 dials that you have for your climate. It would plug into here. Whereas if you look at this harness in the center, it does not have that same white plug in the middle because it is all digitally controlled. Instead, that white plug is located over here on the passenger side, and that's where that module goes. So I just wanted to show you guys that it is actually the same plug. So you might be thinking, well, John, why don't you just tuck this module behind your dash in the center there and call it good? Well, the pinouts are actually different. So even though the plug fits, where the pin location is different. So this module goes over here and plugs in right here, and that mounts over there. So that fits there. The other differences start coming into, you're gonna see these olive colored wires, and there's gonna be 2 additional wires. This kind of purple color, that is for our 8.4, so it's for the satellite and different functions there. So you got 2 extra wires for that. And what I also wanted to show you guys is in the center here. So this, where it goes up to the top in the middle there, we have a 3rd speaker wire. So this is gonna give us more speakers. Whereas if you look at this harness where it goes up to the top, doesn't have that 3rd speaker wire. It just has the one for our automatic headlights. And then if you look over here, you're not gonna see an extra harness. So whereas you look on this side, you're gonna see this extra harness here for our factory amplifier. So all of our speakers are gonna be factory amplified now, so we'll get better sound. Also, we have illumination for our footwells. So we'll get the factory LED footwell illumination. There is actually that plug. It does exist even on this one. You can see here it's zip tied up, but kind of a bonus here, it was actually already attached to our harness, so I ended up getting that one. So that's the major differences between the two. Amplifier, climate's relocated, and it's got the extra wiring for our features on our 8.4. So anyways, let me dress this in to our frame, and let's get it back in there. Okay, so we got everything dressed back in, so everything just tucks back into all the different places and pegs that you took it out of. There's a few that I can probably button up, but got all the major ones in and all the major stuff. I also put in my ground straps since they're easier to get to with this removed. We didn't initially think we were gonna remove it, but just easier that way. I did just go look on my EcoDiesel Laramie, and there is a big steel bracket that mounts to the dash frame that holds this in that position. So I don't have that bracket to mount it to here, so I'm gonna have to improvise, but nonetheless, we'll put it in here for now. Maybe I'll order the bracket later, but I'm sure I can tie wrap it up and whatnot in here somehow. All right, so we've got the frame in, got the 13s on the side tight, got the 210s tight, just dressing things in, and I'm gonna go ahead, run this wire harness underneath the carpet, connect it to the center here, and then we can pretty much get the dash pad in here in just a few minutes and get to those 5 million screws. All right, so I just threw the steering column up with one bolt just temporarily, just so I could flip the carpet all up and routed it in. So we got our plug connected, we got our ground back on, and then here's our new harness over here. I did notice that this one came bundled up a little bit because I think that if you have the center console, it just goes straight to here, rather than the jump seat comes over to here and the harness runs over. So there was a little bundle, like they kind of give you a bit of excess because they probably use the same harness for both the jump seat and the center console, and I'm assuming this came out of a Laramie with a center console. So that is all done. I'm gonna drop the steering column back down. We still got those 2 bolts to fire up here. And then we can put the dash pad in. So here's the 210 mils. All right, so those 2 bolts are tight, and just temporarily, you guys, I just went ahead and just put 2 tie wraps around this just to hold it in place. It's pretty solid, honestly, but I'll locate the factory bracket here at some point and just button it in, but at least I can get it in here. That way I can plug in my harness and get the amplifier all situated. One other thing, at least on the single cab, that you'll notice is this blue connector. It, well, at least this came from a, I believe, quad cab or crew cab, but the connector's down here. On mine, it is up here. Not a big deal though, just a couple tie wraps, and that is gonna swing up to here. So I will have to move that. I guess on the 4-door trucks, the connection must be down here, whereas mine connection is up here because it goes over to the front, because my antenna, you can see it, is right there, and the 4-door one's on the back. Okay, so there you have it. It reaches up to here. I just had to remove one tie wrap and flip it around, and now it reaches right where it's supposed to. So that's good to go. Let's go ahead and grab that dash pad. Man, that looks good. So I just slid it in here. Really wasn't much of a chore at all to just slip this thing up here. So it just fit over top. All of our holes are all lined up. So just make sure you're good, but I mean, it really isn't that difficult, you guys. Looks like I might have to flip it on the outside of that bracket right there, but yeah, just kind of get it all in position. And then I'm gonna go ahead and fire all those 5 million 7 mil screws in, and we'll get underway here. Okay, so I've just been working my way across with those 7 mils. Don't make the mistake I just did, which was forget to connect these 2 connectors before I put this in. I had to get my fingers in there. Yes, it is possible. No, it is not fun, but those are in, and now I can put in these 2 bolts that hold this bracket in place as well. And as far as the routing, goes through there, clips in there. So I've just been reclipping everything in the factory positions. Next up, I'm gonna plug in all my connectors down here. So pretty straightforward, can't really mess them up. There's that one. This one will plug into here. This is for the vanity light that we don't have. And then we'll install, and we'll plug in our little antenna wire. So everything's installed other than this little LED vanity light that we can do at a later date, since I don't have a little light that plugs into that. This one here is plugged in. Bag is plugged in. I don't have the light that goes up here yet because I'm waiting for the upper glove box. Let's go ahead and install our glove box, might as well. So you have to pull that little cord that goes on the side at the same time so that you can grab it in here. It's like kind of like a little shock dampener thing. And there we go, glove box is in. I'm gonna put the steering column back up. One thing to mention is, trust me, I've made this mistake before, is make sure that your steering column doesn't rotate out of wherever it was originally positioned. It's okay if it does, like it's doing right there, but make sure you get it back in the same spot. Otherwise, your clock spring will not be centered, and you might be in for a bad day like I am right now with my Hellcoda, because it ended up snapping the clock spring. It is a lot more expensive on the Hellcoda because it has got the Charger one, and it's like a $500 and something clock spring to get all my buttons on my steering wheel and everything to work again. So make sure you don't make that mistake. So I'm gonna put those 13 mil nuts on for our steering column. All right, so the 4 steering column bolts are tight. Now let's go ahead and plug in this side of the harness. The same deal, everything just kind of plugs in here. I think this one might be the wrong way actually right now. Let's see. No, actually that one is. So slide that in there. Close that latch. Same deal with this guy. Close that latch. This is going to be our Obd2 port. This goes up to our steering column. Those can all go up here. These wires can plug into our amplifier. Put our little parking brake thingamabobber in here. So that goes in there. Reattach this rod that goes back here. So there we go. Parking brake release. Then I'm gonna go ahead and put all the steering column wiring back in. So just plug all this stuff in, and of course put in your Christmas tree clips all over the place. Plug in our ignition switch, which at some point we will be going keyless, but it's not now, so I'm gonna put those screws in. Okay, and next up, since we don't have a center console yet, I'm gonna go ahead and throw this thing in here. Okay, the other funny thing is too, is because this harness came out of a vehicle with a center console, it actually has the thing for the 12 volt port. It's wrapped up and taped up. So it is here, but it's wrapped up for now. So I'm gonna remove it just because I might need it in the meantime until we get the center console, and extend it to our port right here. And again, here's the other one for this side. It is taped up right here. So they are here, but they're just taped up. All right, so this is all in. Both power ports are connected. And one interesting thing is, technically, you guys, if you're looking for some, accessory powers, those two are just, tucked up in underneath the dash for the most part if you have a center console. Now I'm gonna go ahead and put these in. Not sure, comment down below what you guys think. It kind of has this like gunmetal color, which I do kind of like, even though it might be, base model, so to speak. I do kind of like this gunmetal finish, so we could upgrade it, but I kind of like it. I don't know, comment down below what you guys think. I'm gonna pop that one in on the other side. So that's in. I'm gonna install the switch, so we'll plug this in and pop it in. One other thing too, you guys, is I did install the 2 corner speakers. I just put the original ones in. I do, from the Hellcat Swap Dakota, I have a bunch of the factory Harman Kardon ones and the center speaker. So for now, I'm just gonna install the 2 originals, but we will be doing a subsequent video on the comparison between these speakers with the amp and the Harman Kardon factory ones, and see if we get any sound difference, because I'm curious, and I'm sure you guys are curious if it's any difference. I'm gonna throw our gauge cluster in, but a subscriber is actually sending us a premium cluster. So that should show up in the next few days, but for now, I'm just gonna situate this here, plug it in at least so we can test things, but just know that we're gonna be doing the cluster upgrade as well. So I'm just installing our steering wheel cover. We got the cluster in there. There's 3 screws in this, 1, 2, these 2 are long, and there's this tiny little machine screw that goes in the middle here. And it just holds everything in place to the column. And the top lid just kind of snaps in place as well. So there we go. That's all in here. Let's go ahead and get this cover piece in here. So we've got our hood latch cable in, Obd2 port, we'll throw that in here. One other thing too is there's a couple wires here. This one, you'll notice a little knockout here. I think that has to do with the climate control and it being automatic, which we don't have just yet. So again, future plans, but at the moment we're just gonna assemble this. I'm gonna reinstall our sill here. Here's a side piece. Might as well throw on this bottom one. We'll do this piece here. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and leave the speaker covers off since we're gonna be playing with the speakers. As for the center, I have I actually just ordered the center cover that has the speaker outlet in it. It says the Alpine on it because the one that I have is just a blank right now. So that I'm gonna leave off, the two A-pillar covers. But the whole reason for doing this is for the 8.4. So I'm gonna go ahead, we'll throw this in here and I'll discuss more about setting this all up. But for now, let's get it in here and let's get our 8.4 bezel and all that situated as well. All right, so there's the screen. I connected all the connections on the back, and then we've just got our connections for here. So let me connect these, and I'm not gonna fully situate this. Like I said, I really wanna go in depth on the next video, but I just wanna kind of show you guys what we're planning for the next video here. All right, so I didn't fully click it in because like I said, it's gonna be in and out, but she is all together, boys. So other than the seats, she is together. So she is back together. Only thing is just the two 10mm bolts. Install those up there. That one little hidden screw that is over here, if you guys saw, that one, I don't even think it's necessary, so I'm not gonna bother putting that one in. You can if you want, but I didn't really see the difference in having it there or not, other than the nuisance of trying to get it in or out. But let's go ahead, even though it's gonna throw some codes for sure because we don't have seats in here. I want to see if this thing powers up and see if we've got anything, so let's check. One other thing too is this trim piece. There's two little pieces of trim that I need to order for here because it is integrated on this one. So it comes all the way around on this one, whereas on the leather one, it's an actual trim piece that clicks in here. So I'm gonna reconnect our battery and we'll see how mad this thing is. It's definitely going to have a bit of a conniption until we program some of this stuff. Well, right off the get-go, our vanity light works when you open it up, or footwell lighting, whatever you wanna call it. So let's see. Should have some action on the stereo, I hope. Well, boys and girls, we got 8.4s out the wazoo. But might have an issue, but you guys are gonna have to come and check out the next video to find out why I've got two 8.4s hanging here and what is going on. So that's gonna wrap it up for this video, you guys. So we've got the wiring in there. This wiring is gonna be fully capable of all the options for a similar year truck, but it's up to us to program it and to get everything to work. I did buy one of those 8.4s from a salvage yard, so we shall see. A little bit of an unknown on that one. But we'll see how she goes. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Comment down below if you have any questions. Make sure you're subscribed so that you check out the next video and you're notified when the latest videos come out. And we'll see you guys on the next episode when we continue this.